This looks absolutely incredible. And it's more than I could have ever dreamed of. I am so goddamn excited. I just can't even tell y'all. Those of you who have been supporting my Bannerlord addiction know how much I love this game. This is breathtakingly exciting. I want you to remember the content creators, and there's a few of us who are out here putting Bannerlord content out before War Sales was announced. Because they're all showing up now from their greener pastures, talking about how excited they are for Bannerlord. But you'll remember, some of us never left. Pop of Oklahoma was out here putting food on the table for my Bannerlord family when it wasn't popular. And people were just on Reddit talking shit, talking about how it's a dead game and I should just give up. Behold, motherfuckers. What do I tell you about Bannerlord? The greatest game going on right now, and my favorite game of all time. There is nothing like it. Here's the bad part about this whole thing, that June 17th. Can I tell you that? That's a fucking disaster. June 17th ain't gonna work, Tail Worlds. We gotta talk this out. Because they thinned us out, you know what I mean? And that's on them. And they owned it, and I respect that. But June 17th is completely unacceptable. So the first thing to mention, of course, is we've got the naval combat system coming in, realistic winds and water physics, ship-to-ship combat with ramming, boarding. It's going to be an amazing addition to Bannerlord. And let me tell you something, not just an addition to Bannerlord, but to the Mountain Blade series, because this is the beginning of it for all of my Napoleonic warfare modders out there, right? This is that ship-to-ship combat that it starts out with little boats like this, but in the end, we've got the ships of the line going at it. And this is the beginning of that technology, and I am just so excited. Not only for what this is going to bring for Bannerlord, but just the whole series in general. Congratulations, Tail World. This is a home run. This is an absolute home run, and I'm stoked. Let's talk about the biggest winners of this announcement. The Wood Villages. For those of you that ever play Monopoly, remember Boardwalk and Park Place? Now that we know that every faction's going to need a navy, and probably an obscenely big one for some of us, right? Well, Wood Villages now are prime real estate. Beware the Ides of June, Wood Villagers. Beware the Ides of June. And here come the Nords. You'll remember how friendly those Nord Huskarls are. It's going to be interesting to see how they delineate between the Sturgians and the Nords. Obviously, there will be a lot of cultural overlap and probably a lot of overlap between the units fighting in Shield Wall and stuff like that. That would be expected. I wonder what the noble troop's going to be, though. Is it just going to be like a super infantry? Maybe we should have an elite javelinman. That would be awesome. You always see those Sea Raider bosses and chiefs with those badass javelins. It'd be awesome to have a Huskarl shield wall and then behind it rows of elite javelinmen. And then they talk about how like the combat plays out with ramming and, you know, crippling the sails, and just, it's going to be blockbuster. Just take a look at whatever your time played is on Steam and go ×3. For those of you as addicted as I am, this is game over. This is ground zero. The frustration with Bannerlord is always how much potential is left on the table. And I think they're starting to realize that potential. Looks like we got a little sidetrack. That happens, and they owned it, so let's just all move past it. But now we're focused in, and this is what we've been saying as the community that never left, was this is unlike anything else out there. This is special, and you need to be taking care of this baby here. Don't be worried about other projects. And I think they realize that now, and here we come in, and they come in swinging. And this is what I always say, if Bannerlord as a game ever reached its potential where it was just completely fleshed out from the campaign map, diplomacy, battle AI was a little better, and sieges, if it all came together now with the naval combat too, it would be horrifying for people like me. I mean, it's terrifying to think about it being that good, but here we go. I think they're starting to realize what they've got, and then we got a little sidetracked, but now we're coming back, and this is a hell of a comeback, I think. So Northland's coming in here, and you can see the islands, and you'll also see the storms and kind of rough seas. There's like the weather system now includes storms. It's going to be cool to see little ships going around. I guess you're just going to level your sailing or navigation or whatever the same way you level riding, right? You just run around and and it kind of levels it up. There's going to be talents that help you be better at nautical combat and movement. It sounds like there's going to be, or at least eventually, a whole like trade ship system where trade ships are running from port to port, kind of like caravans do. And I guess pirates are going to hit those trade ships. And of course, with the ships, we've got ship production and new trade goods coming in, coastal towns, which are going to be extremely profitable. If you can fend off, look, it says right there, pirates and naval invasions. Naval invasions is interesting because, of course, right now I'm sure they're talking about naval invasions from other factions that you're at war with coming to invade you, which is just awesome. You could also see in the future, this could include new factions showing up from, around the world or whatever, and what that, of course, could mean in future games. And then here's another thing that's cool is that the sieges now, you're going to need that navy to block off port cities if you really want to starve them out. Otherwise, they can resupply from sea. Bunch of customization. You can customize the siege engines on your boat, the cargo hold, sails, ramps. Look at all this. Shipyards and docks talking about needing all that wood. And then you can also capture ships and figureheads so that you can loot ship parts. Some better character customizations and some tattoos and stuff for you to really slap together that epic Nord look. Adding some nautical skill trees and skills into the talents. Got a lot of new weapons and armors coming in. And we also getting unique troop trees for naval troops that are more effective at naval combat. And you're also going to see some naval companions coming in. If you're one of those that kind of gets overwhelmed sometimes when a whole bunch of stuff is added to a game, no problem. They got a tutorial. This is brilliant. Here they talk about how they got distracted on another project, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You should be pumping Bannerlord full of shit like this, and it's good to see this war sale, but it's way too late. They should have already had stuff like this coming in. And, I don't know how they got distracted, but I'm glad to see they're back here and that they scrapped the distraction because I think Bannerlord has a ton of potential left. They're also bringing in this robust stealth system, I guess, from the scrap project. This sounds very cool. Could make jailbreaks a lot more fun, really enhance that roguery playthrough. And we all know Brother Oklahoma's a big fan of that. Another thing they talked about is the system there. They add random events and then you kind of pick how you respond to it. And that will impact your traits and how they want to improve upon the trait system. It is true that whether you're cruel or noble or daring or whatever, that it doesn't really matter in the game. It's kind of like diplomacy. There is a diplomatic system in the game, but it sucks. And it's the same with the trait system. So I'm glad to hear that they're going to be addressing this. I mentioned this in what I would like to see added to Bannerlord. I talked about random events, but in my case, I referred to it more as, random events happening throughout your kingdom, whether it be plagues or invasions or floods. I think randomness adds to a playthrough. Bannerlord is at its best when they just add to the sandbox. Just build an awesome playground and let people go in and bring their ideas and their imagination. And that's when Bannerlord is at its peak. Looks like they're trying to spice up town and castle projects. Here they talk about the passage of time and the cycle of life and how they feel like they've kind of got a nice balance to the pace of a campaign. But I took this to mean that they were considering adding maybe an option where you can either increase or decrease the passage of time so that if you want your campaign to play out a little faster or slower, that's kind of an interesting option. A parlay feature incoming, which could make charm a lot more powerful. If the AI is upgraded a little better to be a little more aware of its situation, maybe charm comes in where you can talk people into taking over a city with no bloodshed. If there's hardly any garrison left or anything, that's kind of an interesting thing. So we'll see how this parlay feature plays out. On top of everything else we've talked about, we've also got some combat experience improvements coming where they're adding, you can see right there, slings. Oh, yeah. That is awesome. Look at that. Pow! Oh, God. An army of slingers. You wait till you see Rise of the Slingers coming in. A slinger playthrough for sure. Looks like they're trying to also address some issues with spear bracing, making it better and making infantry more effective against cavalry charges. It needs some improvement. The AI needs to be addressed. One of the big issues the AI has is using archers. Like, they always get clumped up on the infantry, or they gets in that stupid circle formation. They should just disable that circle formation. It completely cripples the AI. It makes them so easy to kill huge armies when they bunch up like that. It doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be good enough, you know? But it really struggles to even do that sometimes. So I'm hoping it's something they're going to take a look at. And then, of course, the most exciting announcement to me is working on adjusting, supporting the modders, because as exciting as all this stuff is, and I mean, I just can barely contain myself. I have, oh God, it's just incredible. All of this coming. And then June 17th, I get so excited. And then that June 17th hits me in the chest and takes my breath away. I cannot do June 17th. That's not going to work at all. The best news of all is that there's more Bannerlord coming. I think a lot of people were worried that the game was dead, that Tailworlds was gone, but here they come roaring out of the gate. And I think we've got our direction sorted, and I think we're all on the same page now. If you need a Viking playthrough to tide you over, I've got some. Check them out. I am absolutely ecstatic about what's coming in the future of Bannerlord, and I look forward to making more content and playing this game with you guys. Welcome back, Tailworlds. We missed you. Don't fuck it up. Oklahoma out.